Hey now, today we're going to take a look at But Wait, There's More from Toy Vault. And just in the interest of full disclosure, the publisher sent me a copy of the game for review. Now this is a very light, very simple, very fast party game where all of the players are trying to pitch each other on a product and hope that the other players like their pitch better than anyone else's. And if they do, then they're going to get points and that might lead them to victory. Now the products that you're going to be pitching people on are very generic things like maybe a golf club or a microwave or even like a recycling bin. But your version of the product is going to have some special features, and you need to improvise and slide those into your pitch and make everyone want to choose your version of the product over everyone else's. Let's go ahead and take a brief look at how the game is played, then we're going to come back and I'll let you know what I think. Okay, I'm going to give you a very brief overview of But Wait, There's More. This is a party game for up to 5 players, although you could play up to 6 players with a little mini expansion that may or may not come with the game. But also, you can play in teams. So in that case, you can play with up to either 5 or 6 teams of a number of members that you determine. The goal of the game is to have the most points after 3 rounds of play. The game is only going to last for 3 rounds. Points are essentially gained from voting cards, and how this game works is that you are trying to pitch a product to the rest of the group every round. You have product cards, feature cards. These, that's the best part cards, are actually another little mini expansion that may or may not be with the full game, so just bear that in mind, but I'll cover that at the end. Every round, the first thing that you're going to do is flip over one of these product cards that I just knocked the whole stack over of. But you'll flip one of these over, and it will have a product on it. So you have there's a diary. Let's do another one. There's a bag. There's a banana. Let's go with banana. That's usually funny. And players are going to start with 3 of these feature cards. Now, these are potential features of the product you're trying to pitch. Once every player knows what the product is going to be, they're going to secretly choose one of their 3 feature cards in hand and put it face down in front of them. So let's just take a look at a few that I have here in my hands. We have delivers heat and moisture to the inside. You have this is funny. Stops annoying barking from your dog. I'm talking about the other one. That's pretty funny. Together with banana. Aligned with your chi. And I mean, there's a ton of different feature cards. You see that whole big stack there. There's no more bending over to get what you want. And, of course, good to the last drop. So these are potential features of the product you're pitching. I should say they're features that are unique to your version of this product. So you're each going to choose one of the pink cards, the feature cards. Once they're all locked in, whoever is the first player is going to get the timer, flip the timer over, and you have 30 seconds to make your pitch to the rest of the group. So let's say, and you have to work in your feature at some point. So, for example, if I had begun my pitch and I was like, okay, banana, I'm sorry, it's hard for me to do this on the spot, but not only do I have this ultra special banana that is delicious and looks beautiful, it also is aligned with your chi. So I have to work in my feature card that I selected into my pitch, but at a certain point during the first half of my pitch, I also have to draw a random feature card off the top of the deck and incorporate that. So not only does this banana align with your chi, it also says there's no more bending over to get what you want because this banana can magnetically pick things up. I don't know. It's like I said, it's hard for me to do this on the spot on video, but that's essentially what you have to do. Now, at the beginning of the game, one player is going to be randomly selected to also get the Tell Us More card. And what the Tell Us More card is, oh, by the way, when you flip over one of the top feature cards, it says, but wait, there's more. So that's kind of where the name of the game comes from. But someone is randomly selected to start off with the Tell Us More card. And whoever has that, at some point during any player's pitch, they can, or after they get done with their pitch, they can throw the Tell Us More card at them and say, well, tell us more. Which means that you must immediately flip the timer back over. You have another 30 seconds. And you have to draw another randomized feature card off the top and continue your pitch. But once you use that card, the player that you hit them with it, or the player who got hit with the Tell Us More card, gets that card and then can use it on a future round. But remember, there's only 3 rounds of play. Oh, now, once you're done with your pitch, no matter whether you're hit with the Tell Us More card or not, then it's going to keep going around until every player at the table, and this is set up for a 5-player game, has a chance to pitch in the exact same fashion. At that point, the players are going to take their voting cards into hand. Now, you're going to have a number of voting cards depending on the number of players, and the voting cards that you get and how many of them are also depending on the number of players. So in a 5-player game, because you're voting for 4 other players, you'll have 4 cards. You'll have a 3, a 2, and 2 1s. These are points at the end of the game. So obviously you want to give a 3 to the person that you like the most, and you want to give the 1s to the people whose pitches you did not like all that much. You're going to take one of these cards secretly and put one on every person's little colored placard here telling them what kind of company you are, but you're just differentiating the color of the different players. Once everyone has successfully put down one of the voting cards on everyone else's card, you don't look at them, you just leave them there, and then you proceed to the next round. And after you've done this 3 times, done 3 whole rounds, everyone's going to pick up all the voting cards that they have on their player card, see who has the most total points. Whoever has the most is the winner. Now, there's one little extra thing I'll talk about here, and that is That's the Best Part cards, which I said are like a little mini expansion. I don't know if they're going to be available with the main game or not at some point, but with these, you're going to deal one of these out to every player at the start of the game. Or actually, I'm sorry, you deal 2 out to every player, and then whenever you use 1, you'll draw back up to 2, so you'll have 1 to use in every round. And essentially what's going to happen is when someone finishes giving their pitch, the player to their right gets to use one of the That's the Best Part cards that's in their hand in order to ask a question of the person giving the pitch. So for instance, I give my pitch and then someone says, but what happens if it induces vomiting? Well, now the player who is in the middle of giving a pitch has about, give or take, 15 seconds to say, well, that's the best part, and come up for a reason why having it induce vomiting is not quite that bad. And that's kind of how it happens. So it's always going to be the player to the right hitting the next person with it. You'll draw back up, and then you'll continue. So it's just more fodder in order to give the players a better idea of who had the best pitch for the round. And that's a very quick run-through of But Wait, There's More. Okay, the first thing I want to say up front is that there's a game called Snake Oil, which I personally have not played. It's been out for quite a while, and it's very well regarded amongst party game aficionados. But a lot of people that I played But Wait, There's More with, and people who just happened to be walking by at the store we were playing at, pointed out that this game is very, very similar to Snake Oil. I went ahead and looked. I wasn't going to go run out and play Snake Oil just for the sake of this, but I did look at the rules online, and it is really similar. The big difference is that in Snake Oil, you are pitching a product one by one to one player who is like the customer for the round, and that who has like a different role card, and that's going to pass every round, so you're always pitching to someone new, and you will have a chance to be pitched to yourself, and then you as a customer award a card to someone as a point. But Wait, There's More, everyone is pitching to each other, and then you're doing secret scoring with these point cards that you dispense to every player. So someone might get 1 point, one person might get 2 points, someone that you really liked might get 3 points. And I think, to me, that is the best part about But Wait, There's More, because I really hate arbitrary judging games. I've had some very bad luck with them. The most notorious one is Story War, where you're just going to say, that sounds good, let's just go with that. And there's no sort of structure to how you choose someone. In this one, you just are judging on a scale of 1 to 3 how much you liked someone. And it's secret. You don't get to know until the end of the game, which is very brief. That's another plus of the game. And I like that. I like that you don't really hurt anyone's feelings, and which can happen. I don't really care. I'm used to that at this point. But this is a very casual game. So you're going to be playing with people a lot of times who are just casual gamers and who are not really used to hyper-competitive things. And so it's nice that you can sort of secretly vote, and then it's not as bad when you flip over all your cards and they're all ones. But at least by that point, the game is over, you've had fun, hopefully, and that's that. So I think that's probably the best thing about this. You can still sort of tank someone, which is something I don't like about these kind of scoring systems, where if you just don't want someone to win, even if they had the best pitch, objectively speaking, or even subjective to you, you could just give them the 1. And that can happen, but hopefully you have the kind of group that's not really a big deal, and that's not something that you're really going to do to each other. Now, I like the game, and it is fun. Everyone that I played it with had fun doing it. But the big issue, another big problem with these types of games, is that this is going to be very, very conditional to your group. whether it's casual gamers or not, it's going to be conditional to people who really love speaking and doing improvisational acts and just coming up with stuff on the fly and being able to work under the pressure of a timer. That's a lot of different parameters to be set that not everyone is going to meet. And that's kind of what happened in every game that we played. There was always a couple of people who were either just okay with it and they were really into it. Like, these are people who are typically speakers and were really good at it, or people like me who are just like, I'm okay with it. I can do it and it's fine. And because I talk on video all the time and because I work in sales, it wasn't a big deal for me. You would think that being in sales gave me a huge leg up, but I did win a couple games. But it's the other people at the table are just, they might have had fun, but they're just kind of being wallflowery because it's not in their personality to do this kind of game, to perform and act out and come up with stuff on the spot. And whereas if you're playing, let's say, a Euro game or a strategy game or anything else, it's not so bad, or just some sort of light card game. They might be incredibly smart people in those regards, but when it comes to actually acting out and coming up with something on the spot, they just sort of flounder. And that is why this is going to be a very particular type of party game. Whereas other games, I think, have a more universal appeal because you might just be writing something down or doing trivia. This one is going to be for a very specific group of people, much like the other game, Snake Oil. And I can't really compare and contrast those two games to get back to that because I haven't played Snake Oil. It's really going to come down to whether you prefer the point system here. Snake Oil seems a little bit less structured as to how you make your pitches. This version that I have of But Wait There's More actually comes with some extra little expansions that add some little foils to it, but where you can ask people a question, but what if this happens? And what happens in that situation? Then you have to riff again off of the same product. And so, and it handles a decent amount of players. I think there's another little mini expansion that brings it up to 6 players, which you probably wouldn't want to go too much higher than that anyways, although you could play in teams. But even then, when you're working in teams, it doesn't add too much to the game length because you're just working together to have the same pitch. But still, I think having 4 to 5 players solo, individual, is the best way to go with this. It's a fun game. It's not necessarily for me just because I kind of get, while I'm good at coming up with stuff on the spot and sort of improvising and speaking, it's kind of exhausting to me. It's not something that I have like a ton of fun doing. I really just enjoy watching everyone else do it, but it is awkward when I see people that are just not having a fantastic time because this just isn't their kind of game, and I keep thinking we probably should have played Say Anything or Cards Against Humanity where they don't have to put themselves out there quite as much. But for the type of people who do like games like Snake Oil or who like just coming up with stuff on the spot, this might be the game for you. So that is But Wait There's More from Toyable.